Apokolips versus Asgard. This is just getting some provisos out of the way, stuff like that, so I don't get a lot of hate comments. Let's begin. Rules. No temporary amplifications are allowed, no true form metaphysical bullcrap, as that makes the scaling much harder. And third main thing, I'm going to be pulling from numerous continuities as source material for this, not just specifically the comics. There you go. Further, due to a big disparity that happened with the New Gods, they really don't have as many good feats for Apokolips, aside from, once again, Darkseid himself. But, Alright, let's begin. Comparing Apokolips and Asgard, should they meet on roughly equivalent ground, or they declare war on each other, stuff like that. Okay, let's begin. I said that way too much. Okay. The main thing, Asgard has highly seasoned warriors competing for them, right, fighting, whereas Apokolips namely uses parademon grunts that have really no higher intelligence, and slaves, which, while, yeah, they might win in a war of attrition, a single Asgardian soldier, I would say, can take out 40 to 50 parademons or slaves by himself. The only real thing Apokolips has the Asgardians beat here is, I'll say, specialized units, if you want to say that, as Darkseid has his Furies, an all-female fighting force that are incredibly relentless and brutal, as we see in the films Superman, Batman, Apokolips, Young Justice Season 3, and assumedly 4, and, well, comics. Odin, by extension, the only real one that we have, aside from if you want to include Hela's Vanguard as her own personal thing, which I kind of wouldn't count, because I would consider that more as Hela's army rather than anything else. You could... Warriors 3, plus Lady Sif, I would say. I would say Sif is around the level of a Fury by herself. But even then, still. And then, once again, Darkseid does have some good muscle to back him up, like his son Kalibak, who is just a feral beast. Desaad, albeit he's much more of a strategist slash planner. Steppenwolf as a general. And, well, Mantis, who is said to be the second strongest new god aside from Darkseid that's currently on Apokolips. Other than that, he has Kanto, Wunderbar, Big Barda, as previously mentioned, Guillotina, I feel like would be very quick, very hard to pin down. But I'm just kind of listing all these just to cover ground here. I'm not going to be listing every single Apokoliptian or Asgardian god or new god, just because, well, this video would take far too long, and you guys would probably not watch that, so. Moving on to Asgard. Only, aside from the Warriors 3 and Lady Sif, Thor, Odinson, Loki, Laufeyson, Hela, and Angela Odin's-daughter, I would also include. Granted, I am not including Orion for Apokolips, as he is much more part of working with New Genesis than anything else in the majority of continuities. A key thing that Apokolips does have is the mother boxes and their ability to create boom tubes, which are essentially massive portals that transport entities anywhere you need to go in the universe, which is quite helpful. I mention these here just because, once again, to cover ground. Further, I do not believe that they would be used in a massive military-style campaign. Granted, they may be used just to transport vessels and troops, but to, for example, to boom tube into the heart of Asgard, you'd need to bypass numerous magical and physical wards. And also, well, it's not exactly subtle seeing, a massive tube open up in the sky, or in the throne room, for example, sucking and pulling stuff into it. Yeah, your invasion really would not go well there. Really wouldn't. The only time Asgard's really been invaded is what if, when Infinity Ultron, had the full power of the gauntlet and was utilizing it to its fullest effect to destroy Asgard, which was a separate one-off issue, and further in Thor the Dark World, when the Dark Elves were able to barely sneak past Heimdall. Barely. Key thing, though, if we're talking about specialized technology or units, I have to bring up the Destroyer armor. The Destroyer armor by itself is unbelievably terrifying. It is a massive machine constructed of uber metal and heavily fortified ancient Asgardian enchantments. It is so unbelievably powerful that Odin donned this thing to go against the Celestials. Granted, they lost. All the Skyfathers lost against the Celestials, but the fact that they went against them at all should kind of go to show how ballsy the Skyfathers are, for one, and two, just how big of a power gap the Celestials have on them. And also just, how good the Destroyer is if Odin is rocking this thing into battle with him. Not to mention it kind of disintegrates whatever it looks at, so yeah, there's that. Also, it doesn't tire. Really, you can't kill it. So, yeah. Talking about conquest for a minute, the Apocalypse and Eugenesis are in a constant stalemate, forever war, what have you, due to the fact that their armies, planets, and commanders are roughly equivalent in power, which I would put as a massive black mark on them. And you kind of already know where I'm going with this. In MCU, according to this specifically, Odin and Hela were able to subjugate all 9 realms of the cosmos and held them under their heel for assumedly millennia. Until Odin, kind of realized the error of his ways, became peaceful, like Hela and Hell, all that stuff. Snyder Cut Darkseid, Yuxos, did say he turned 100,000 worlds to dust looking for the anti-life equation. But even then, we really have no feats for him to back this up. The only feat Snyder Cut Justice League Darkseid does have is, killing an unnamed Green Lantern, which, once again, no real feats aside from killing a few parademons. And, he was able to withstand some lightning from Zeus, which, okay, cool. Got messed up something proper by Ares, and took 2 arrows to the chest from Artemis, which, granted, I don't know if Artemis is a god. I do know that she is an Amazon. I might be remembering that wrong. Please correct me in the comments if I am wrong on this. But, once again, this is going to be a common thing you see with Darkseid, as regular humans are able to get a leg up on, supposedly, what should be the strongest of the new gods. In terms of, animation, Justice League and Justice League Unlimited, of which I cannot recall all the appearances of Darkseid, he showed up quite a bit in that show. So I'll just use the DC AMU for reference. He was able to be blinded by Damian Wayne with nothing but a regular sword through the eye. No Radeon or anything. Just straight up a sword through the eye. Yep. Not only that, he shot his Omega Beams at Damian Wayne, which did not kill him, as he was barely but still clinging to life. Good time Odin showed up was in the show Marvel's Avengers Assemble, where, once again, he was bodying all the Avengers. Yes, he got sent back a little bit by Hulk, but that's just because he was caught off guard. And, he was bodying the rest of the Avengers like it was nothing, including his own son Thor. Further, he only really was ever weakened going against Mangog, which is an entity that literally feeds on the Odin Force, which is the thing that powers him, so that's just straight up being hard countered. That's not really a loss. Gonna have to make this part 2, which is coming out in 3 minutes from now. 10, actually. So, yeah, stay cool.